To the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe, the Fight Podcast. Now, we're doing something a little different today. I know you see like some of the ads and stuff that we've been putting out, but what we're gonna go ahead and do, and I told you guys about it, we're doing high kicking today. So this is where we're gonna head. We don't have the normal type of questions. We're not gonna focus strictly on MMA, man, but we're gonna talk about some weed. We're gonna talk about some amazing smoke sessions. We're gonna talk about, you know, plant-based medicine and so much more. And joining me on the show today is the legend, somebody who I'm so excited to talk about, an advocate, a title holder, one of the best fighters of his generation, none other than Uncle Creepy himself, Ian Mccall. Brother, welcome to High Kicking It.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for that beautiful intro. That was a dope intro, I'm not gonna lie. It was one of the best ones I've heard in a while.
Man, you know, like I said, I appreciate you, man. And you're one of the guys that I was always a big fan of, like I said, coming up and watching the sport and being a fan of MMA. But one thing that, you know, your accolades and everything speak for themselves. You've been in there with the best of the best. And you're somebody that I really respect because you are always yourself. Out of anything else, like I said, you always came across as you were yourself, and to have you for this type of episode is really fun. So you are somebody who is an advocate for cannabis and other plant-based medicines, psychedelics and things like that. And before we get into the fun stuff, which all this is fun, tell me a little bit about your journey with plant-based medicine, psychedelics, and things like that.
Well, we'll start with cannabis. That's where it all starts for me. I've been smoking cannabis since I was 8 years old. You know, my dad smuggled dope in the 70s, and by dope I mean just cannabis, hash oil, around the world. As he puts it, you know, nothing anyone would die over. And you know, he didn't have to do that. He did it because he went through some trauma in his life. You know, that was it. And I grew up around cannabis. My brother was growing cannabis and smoking it, and I knew it wasn't bad for me.
Right.
Now, after all that time, I'm 36 years old. My daughter's now 9. She's been ingesting cannabis since she was 2, and that's because she got very, very sick. And with her, that's where my healing journey began. That's where I started running experiments on myself and on her and on my best friend. And we did it. We fixed her, you know, through hard work and dedication and diet and exercise. And, you know, she ingests CBD a good amount. THC very, very rarely. I'll dabble in THC when she's, you know, had a rough day or she needs sleep, you know, and I modulate it myself because I'm her caretaker and I know what I'm doing. So, but yeah, that was my foray with cannabis. And then once I retired, you know, I've done all drugs. I've done all of them. And I'm a proponent of all drugs. If you're an adult and you want to do drugs, go for it. That's fine. You know, you abuse the drug. Don't let the drugs abuse you. Don't even abuse drugs. Be nice to drugs. They're a great tool to feel better when the time is right. But with medicines, actual plant medicine, as I call them, good drugs. I was broken when I retired, and I understood the science. I'm a huge dork. Like, I'm a huge nerd. I like science a lot, and maybe I don't look like the science type, which is what I've found to be in my journeys within. You know, I get to work with the greatest minds in psychedelics, in science. Like, when I speak, they listen, and that's for a reason. It's because I understand what I'm talking about. But they still do look at me. They still look at me like I'm a chimp that learned some fancy words. You know, and I always say, look, I'm smarter than I look. I promise. Let's start to, you know, figure out how these medicines help. And the reason I learned about them was because I was broken and I wanted to kill myself. And I have responsibilities like a daughter that I'm sorry I couldn't check out. You know, as much as I wanted to, I just couldn't. So why not make this time here being better, making myself a better person at the core, a better version of myself, and then also healing my actual brain, because that was the broken part of it. You know, my hormonal system, my endocrine system, my thought processes, the stories, my neuro-linguistics programming. You know, what are the stories I tell myself? What are the stories I told other people? What are the stories that are being told about me? Whether they're true or false, how do I want to change the narrative? And that's what I've done. I've shown people, look, I get it. I was a psychopath. I was a certifiably bad person. And I'm not, I would never put it on the sport. That was who I had to be that person. But the sport did have a big hand in turning me into that person. That's because that's my environment. And our environment, our epigenetics is more important than our genetics or anything else. So, I've done enough work in the space. I understand enough of the science to where, organizations like the UFC, they ask me questions. It is, and it's good. I fought it. I fought it to be cool and be this guy because I was, again, it was my environment. I was around back when I was a fighter. When I started, it was no holds barred. It was no holds barred fighting. Everyone had a stripper girlfriend or a porn star girlfriend, and everyone had bad tattoos and affliction shirts. It was a breeding ground for douchebaggery, and I just fuck.
People forget those days, man. The good old days.
It wasn't that long ago.
People.
I'm sure if I search hard enough in one of my storage units, I'll find a affliction shirt or some sort of ugly apparel that was cool back then.
Dude, I had it all, man. I had all the tap out shirts, man. Come on, I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't.
Oh man, so yeah, that was a short story of where how I turned into this person, how I became people still trip out, and I have friends or people that I go, no, Ian's not that person anymore. You need to, number one, if you're saying anything negative, just shut up. You sound stupid. But number two, give him a chance. That's what I tell everybody. Everyone deserves a second chance. It's how it works.
Dude, one thing, it's funny that you said this, and it seems like I'm hearing this more and more, especially with people. You hear it from Mike Tyson, for instance, right? After he got done fighting, he had that beast within him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it seems as if, it's between psychedelics as well as, weed and cannabis, it really was what it really kind of brought the love and the happy guy out, and it's really great to see people talking about that. Now, real quick, you're talking about psychedelics, and my experience personally with psychedelics is not only with mushrooms, is with DMT as well. Have you had? What is your experience with psychedelics?
Oh, very vast, very, very, very vast. But I still haven't touched on all of them because I respect them all too much, and I need to work through them. I'm a researcher. I actually teach harm prevention. I have to go, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right. And I've only done ayahuasca once, but I've done DMT. I've never done 5-MeO DMT, but NN-DMT was the actual thing that set me off to retire.
Really?
Yes, I went through multiple journeys, but I just remember at one of them where it just said, "Hey, the party's over in Japan." Dude, you were champion how many years ago? This isn't before you. Let's go. Let's finish this up. Get this over with. This is not. It was madness for me. It was drug addicted. It was abusive from myself, from other people. It was a crazy time that I'm not proud of. Strangely.
Yeah.
And sure, accomplishment's great. I'm really good at fist fighting.
You're very good at it. I have
to
say.
Exceptionally good, yes. I'm one of the best people to ever walk the planet in fist fighting. But it's not something I'm truly stoked on or proud of. It's okay, cool. I was a young, crazy person, and I had an outlet. Luckily, if I had the outlet, otherwise I'd be dead.
And by the way, you and DJ, the first you and DJ fight was one of my favorite fights of yours of all time. It's
my Al Bundy moment.
Yeah.
It was people. Bro, you remember that time? Yeah, I was there. I fucking remember. I got brain damage from that. And
it's a good one though.
It is. It's a very good one, and I used it as a tool. I just said, look, and I was that good, and I was that good because I was sober for once, and I used that at me getting screwed as a chance to start using drugs again. DJ used that to become the greatest champion of all time, or one of the two, I guess. So it's how can I really knock it for what happened? And just now look where I'm at. Life is great.
That's
So it's
amazing.
just a learning lesson. That's all.
You know, I realized for myself, and honestly, I smoked weed a little bit. You know, when in high school, you smoke a couple of times, and then like in college, obviously, you know, I was, you know, I'm dabbling, but it was for myself is I'm training. I want to go pro in MMA. You know, I'm going through the amateur circuits, and all of a sudden I get cancer. So for me, that, you know, my career ended up getting halted at the time. You know, granted, it led me to what I'm currently doing now, which I love. You know, but it was funny because I started smoking weed then, and all of a sudden my markers, my tumor started dropping down, and the doctors were like, you know, what are you doing differently? And at the time, you know, I'm like, eating good protein. Like, what can I say? Shit, you know, it is what it is. But ever since then, I've definitely been more of an advocate, for cannabis and respecting it. And again, I'm the same way in terms of, in terms of, you know, doing my research for all of it as well. And that's why I really wanted to give a platform for it. And yes, it's fun, and don't get it twisted. I want to talk about the fun shit too, right? Like that's a huge part of it
Of course.
as well. But one of the things I've realized, for instance, for me in my journey with even like DMT, is one of the great things about it is it almost forces you to release ego, right?
Oh yeah.
And that was one of the things for me that I've realized, and it was one of my moments that I had to release ego and fear. And it's so interesting. What was that experience for you? Like I said, you had the moment you said where it was like it brought you to reality, you know, with you know, like, okay, these are my limitations, this is where I've been, you know, this is what I need to do going forward. You know, what are some of the other like key moments that you like remember from those journeys?
Oh man, I've seen my future. I was with this guy here, this shaman here, Shane Norte out of the La Jolla tribe and the Morongo tribe. Um, you know, I've had some very transformative experiences. You know, the weekend before I was on HBO
Mm-hmm.
doing a mushroom ceremony, um, I finally took the step to go get initiated into a plant medicine church of my choice. To
Amazing.
work with the shaman, that I work with as kind of a preacher, going through a reverend process to get. Eventually, I'll be a reverend for them, but I need to just have more time doing shamanic training.
Oh, okay.
And you know, I went deep with ayahuasca, and ayahuasca, you know, I met her. She showed me certain things in my
Yeah.
life. If I'm gonna be this person that's, you know, guiding the UFC into a psychedelic study, I need to work on my issues within MMA, because obviously I have a lot of them. Like my best friend, you know, I when I was driving to the ceremony, I thought, has anyone ever been in a fist fight in an ayahuasca circle? And I got there, and I ended up getting in a fist fight with my dead best friend in my sleeping bag.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
you know, and there's just things like that. I mean, there's just tons and tons and tons of things, because I've gone back to the well a lot, and I haven't really since HBO, because that's what it showed me was no more. You don't need to go back to the well until, you know. I mean, I do have something planned soon, but again, that's because my life got real fucking traumatic recently, and I went through some gnarly stuff,
Yeah.
and you know, for me, I just what do they call it? The anger shelf. They just push it down in there and go, okay. I mean, let me make sure that my life is okay, everything is good. I'll deal with this later. And at least now I have the tools. I know that, yeah, I don't have that much time to waste. I
Mm-hmm.
can't sit here and pack this in and not deal with it. But I haven't cried, you know. And I'm a person that teaches healing. I'm breaking the fucking rules, and it's like, okay, what am I doing? Okay, this is what I'm doing wrong. This is what I'm doing right.
Right.
And I know that that's my body protecting me. I know that's my default mode driver protecting me. But at the same time, um, I make sure to go somewhere and take care of it
Mm-hmm.
spiritually or with the medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Like I booked a week-long retreat with the Heroic
Nice.
Project down in Cancun. So I'm gonna go down there and break myself off real hard, because there's some lessons I need to learn. You know, it's just that's you know, I'm excited to go back to the well finally, because it's been since October.
That's dope. So when you do that, what is that process for you like? Do you end up like when you go, like it's like you like take some time, just totally shut yourself off from everybody else, and like this is just your time, or is it just like how is it just, or like how is the trip itself?
Well, this trip we're gonna have 3 ayahuasca days, 2 big Mayan mushroom ceremonies. We're going to have a Mccall ceremony or a sweat lodge. We'll have some workouts, other stuff. And I'll go in there, on a super diet, very in shape, like a fight camp almost. And, I'll work my ass up in preparation, get my body as clean as possible. No sugars, no salts. It's called a dieta. And, you're supposed to, you can go really extreme and go all like unprocessed food. No, not even, like a certain way to prepare your vegetables and all this stuff, no spices. We'll see how deep I take it because, I'm already extremely healthy.
Right.
So, I don't know. I'll review the literature they send me. We'll go in, we'll do a bunch of integration and intention setting and go over, our set setting and intention. These are 3 very important things. And then for me also, I'm an integration coach. But number one, I know I'm not a complete person as a teacher, as an educator. So I'm working with my own. They're trying to bring me down to help facilitate this thing and to help be an integration coach. And I was like, oh no. I was talking to the owner. I'm like, I got some issues I need to work out, so I need help. And I'll go down there and I'll do it. I'll do the process, and then I'm gonna go spend another week. Maybe not a week. Maybe 5 days down there. I need to go see my kid. I miss her a lot. And I'll stay a few extra days in Mexico just to work out, to see my friends. I got a bunch of friends in Tulum, and
that's awesome.
just to integrate, just to be by myself.
That seems like such a nice cleansing experience, man. Just like to get away for a little bit and chill. All right, so for you, in doing that, when you get back, like what your teachings, like I said, now you've been talking with the UFC. How is it that people you feel can really benefit from psychedelic, therapy, and healing from, CTE and things of that nature?
Well, we'll start with the Mccall method. The Mccall method is how I teach what I teach, because it's just a method I use to fix myself, and I just have a bunch of tools I show people. Starts with a big dose, a heroic dose, or 5 grams or more. You go through that process. Yeah. This is for savages. This is for people.
Man, that's not for the faint of heart.
No. This is for savages, and I cannot let these individuals prepare for this. So I have a method that is. I use lemon tech, and all I do is I with citric acid. So I pulverize the mushrooms, so you have more surface area, more bioavailability, and I break them down with citric acid in lemon juice and bromelain in pineapple juice, and we
okay.
And so you have it's just a faster absorption method. For me, it's about fasting for about 8 hours before a good trip. You should prep your stomach with things like I like anti-inflammatory stuff: THC, CBD, turmeric, black pepper, prebiotic, probiotic, digestive enzyme shot. Get prepped and primed, then you ingest the juice, and you're off and running. I mean, within 13 minutes or so from what I have time, you're good. So from there, then you can get into microdose. Obviously, there's everything goes with the trip. You have your integration after. Then I get people into microdosing because most of the people I work with are athletes. Most of them.
Right.
They're just high-level performers. It's a fancy term for saying like deal with people who are, they're good at what they do.
Right.
So then they have microdosing, on a certain protocol depending on how they want it. I mean, my protocol is 5 days on, 2 days off. Okay. Because that, again, for fighters, for broken people, that leads to longer sustained healing. And then from there, there's something that. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying there's something.
I'm sorry, brother. Go right ahead. I'm sorry.
There's something called the performance dose, and this is what people aren't really talking about because it's new. When I have someone perform, let's say a fighter, I go see them, once or twice a week, twice a month, to give them a performance dose, which is anywhere from 1 gram to 2 grams, usually. Okay. Could be less, could be more. And that's where they will have the best breakthroughs and the best performances. So it's about timing and obviously understanding how much they can absorb. and used safely without going over the line and looking like an idiot or an asshole.
And so, when this happens, what are you looking to accomplish or achieve when they're in those
Well,
moments?
flow state, like the ultimate flow state of flow state. It's it's trying to get each sense that you have heightened to a level that is I don't want to say uncomfortable, but to a point where you're like, whoa, holy shit, this is it's an intense experience. And for you to be the person that's having to do this while fighting in a cage, you see the madness that's about to, that's available to happen. So it's about understanding medicine, understanding how to work with it, and doing it the right way, and even taking a microdose with the right intentions. That's a big deal.
Right.
Like these are intelligent things that we are able to ingest into our body to make us in turn more smart. So have some reverence, have some respect. This things, you want to get the most out of it. Listen to people like myself. Listen to the people that I've listened to and learned from. That's the main thing about the Mccall method, is just I'm just giving a platform to people who don't have it, because those are the people that help me out so much in my life, and they help me achieve the things I've done. And the main thing I've achieved is just healing. That's the biggest part. I learned how to heal and get better, and now I'm just exploiting my healing for everyone else's sake, I guess.
Hey, that's not a bad thing. I mean, that those are the best teachers.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I'm all for it. I'm like, cool, yeah. I need to put my neck out there. I need to put myself on the line, because these doctors, these scientists that I learned from, they can't talk about it. They have things that people can take away from them.
Right.
I don't have shit. I'm fucking retired. You can't take anything away from me. I'm gonna tell these people about how good this stuff works, because it's my duty. It's my job to do this, because I can't lose anyone else. I've had very important people in my life die because of these issues. My coach coming up, Jeremy Williams, one of my best friends, Justin Levins, killed himself and killed his wife, who was another dear friend of mine. My best friend, Shane Del Rosario, he died. He partied himself to death. I can't lose another person to this. Right. I can't let other people lose other people to this. And then when you look at, like, this is a fact I keep stating on every show because it's important. Picture two brains, right next to each other. Brain on the right is an adult. It's you. Okay, you make your own choices. You're an adult. You have a good time, good life. You get a traumatic brain injury doing whatever. Car crash, fight, get drunk, fall over, hit your head. It's all your fault. Ever changes your life forever. Okay? Well, the other brain, you can see the brain damage in both of these brains. Okay? The one on the left, the brain damage looks exactly the same. That is a child. It's a child who was repeatedly raped over and over again. So just let that sink in. Why are we looking at people as slutty or as addicted or as stupid or as whatever, however the fuck we want to word it? We're making life worse for these people when we should be trying to make it better. That's how it needs to happen. We need to change how we look at addicted people. It's not the addict's fault. It's not the drug's fault. Those two things came together at the right time. Keep that person alive. We need to learn to just work with each other a little better and just have a better outlook. Because if that's my beta test. If I can fix the fighters that are the most screwed up people around, because whatever drove them to be that crazy to climb into a cage in their underwear and beat someone up for blood money in front of the entire world on replay. Okay, that means they are full of trauma. That's how it works. So for those people to then go into that cage in their underwear and give and receive PTSD every single day of their lives, in the cage, in the gym, then it goes home and you become the monster carrying it home. Like, this is the thing, is if I can fix those people, I can fix your kids. I can fix any of your
Absolutely.
loved ones. I can fix anybody. And that's how it works.
That's
People are like, don't give these medicines to kids. I'm like, fuck you. You better. If a kid's got a lot of trauma, oh man,
Mhm.
oh yes, we need to be giving it to people. And people are gonna try and shit on me for that. But no, man, this in a controlled, safe setting, dude. Anyone can take these because it will make them better
Mhm.
people. Very simple.
Absolutely. No, I thoroughly agree with that. And it's just so amazing how certain things are still vilified, but again, the positive thing is that you are starting to see a change. I mean, New York State just this week, fully, legalized and made, cannabis recreational there. So let me ask you this: for people that are actually trying to go out there and are looking for these resources, what are some ways that people can who are looking for help, what would you suggest them to start off with? Like if they've never tried any psychedelics or anything before, what would you suggest?
Research. Go online. There is so much information online now, for everybody. Like it's really crazy, man. You guys can find out everything you need to know
True.
online, and that's not just with psychedelics. The
Right.
whole world is woken up to some bullshit. Also, be careful because you could find some crazy shit like QAnon. Um,
Whole bunch of crazy shit. Uh oh, it looks like he might have froze on us for a second. See if we can get him back. There we go. Got you back. You see me,
all
buddy?
right. Yeah, I can see you.
There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you just fine. Perfect.
Okay.
There you go again.
So yeah, everyone just do your research. Go online, do your research. If you want to get a lot of good information, go on the South Orange County Psychedelic Integration Circle. It's very wordy because I don't want everybody on there. There's about 800 something people on there. I was sorry too
Okay.
much. The South Orange County Psychedelic Integration Circle. That has all the information I post on there
Amazing.
every couple times a week about it. And just do your due diligence. Go look into reactions if you're on medication.
Mm-hmm.
Please go do that because these things can set you off in the wrong way. I have
Absolutely.
personally seen and been a part of people losing their shit because these medicines they do things to your brain that we don't even quite know yet.
That's true.
So and yes, a lot of it is very very good, but I'm just saying people with chemical imbalances can be set off, and we have to be
True.
cognizant of that.
No, absolutely. Well, all right, man. Let's do this. Let's switch gears a little bit because, well, did I lose you again? Uh-oh. Give us 1 second, guys. Trying to get it going. Let's see. Oh,
All
I
right.
got you back. There we go. Ian, can you see me? And uh-oh. Give us 1 second. There we go. Get him right back.
All right. I
There
had
we
like
go.
I had like 5 phone calls coming at once, and I'm like, why are you all calling me right now? Please go away.
Hey, that's how it always works out, man. But look, we're not gonna take up too much more of your time, brother. I appreciate you, but I do have to ask you a couple things, all
Yes.
right? Because we do want to keep, have throw a couple ones in here. You've like I said, in a fight circle, we end up being around some wild people. What is the craziest smoke session you've ever been in?
Oh man. I had Method Man performed at my birthday party one time. Not birthday party, my post fight party. My buddy ran the club. He goes, "Hey, do you mind if Meth performs?" And I was like, "What?" I was like,
It's like,
"Okay,
do I
yeah, yeah." Just
mind? Yes.
I was like, I didn't have to ask him. Like, can I? He's like, "Yes, you can smoke with him all you want." Um, I've sat. I mean,
That's
I was
sick.
hanging around. I get to hang around with all kinds of cool people. I was giving Mike Tyson psychedelics and smoking with him all the time. Like,
That's nuts.
I'm a very lucky individual. I've become friends with and sold weed to a lot of a lot of my heroes, you know, because they know that I don't fuck around. I do everything the right way. You know, I have amazing products, and I have you know, a good story to go with it. I can always tell and have show people a good time and talk about it and explain, you know, scientifically why
That's
cannabis
so
fights
sick.
COVID. These are stuff that I know. Like, I tell people, look, you want to fight
Wait, could
COVID?
you go back? Yeah, please explain that one to me.
Okay. So
I'm here for it.
if you're ingesting cannabis, you have CBD and THC, which is obviously two things we know are in there the most.
Absolutely.
We know of them the most. So THC and CBD have been shown out of two Canadian studies to blunt the production of the ACE5 and ACE3 protein, I do believe, and which those proteins help COVID bond to your cells. So you're fighting COVID from bonding from your cells from a protein you produce yourself, but then also if you eat mushrooms, and not just psychedelic mushrooms, but medicinal mushrooms. The wider the variety of mushrooms, the wider the variety of protection you'll have, because they have something
Hmm.
called polysaccharides and beta glucans in them, and those things
Okay.
actually strengthen your immunity cells. So if you are you know, ingesting mushrooms and cannabis all the time, you're gonna be safe. The glare is horrible. I'm sorry. We're gonna do
Oh, no
this.
worries at all, man. Oh, dude. Well, hey, that's two things that I do. I mean, I smoke weed every day, and like I said, I do have to have mushrooms from time to time. So I'm gonna keep that up.
Good. Keep.
Well, let me. Well, here. What's a story that you can tell us that was one of the most wild times that you can remember?
Oh man. Um, there's one story I can't tell though. It has to do with Mike Tyson. That one's gonna get released probably on, like, if I do Logan Paul show or something. It's a really gnarly story. Um, Man, most of my weed smoking stories. Oh no, I can't tell that. That's really illegal. Shit. Most of my stories that are really entertaining are on drugs. To be honest, it's people doing wild ass shit, being on too much ecstasy or something else. And most of the stories are just not things that you talk about, because they have famous people
I
in them.
get it.
You know, famous
Totally
people.
understand.
They don't want to talk about their drug use, even though they should, because they're responsible and they're famous and they're still making money. It's like, you know, again, be a responsible drug user and you'll be fine.
See, absolutely. What's your go-to stoner snack or food source after you eat or after you stone? What's your go-to?
Um, Ice cream or French toast, I'd say.
Ooh, French
Yeah,
toast.
but see, I smoke all day long, like literally all day long I smoke. And you know, my mom's a chef. I got a Traeger. I was raised to be a chef. I'm a very good cook. So I like to just smoke and eat. I like to smoke. I like
That's
to eat.
what's up.
Sorry, I like to smoke and cook for people. Like, cooking for people is one of the greatest
I'm a
pleasures of my
chef
life.
by trade, so I hear you.
Oh, so you get it. Yeah, yeah. My mom was a chef for Robert Mondavi before he
That's
passed away,
amazing.
the wine guy. So, you know, I know a thing or two about food, and I appreciate it. And it's just something that, again, you get obsessed with stuff, and that's how I work.
Absolutely.
So,
So, here, let me ask you this: if you had an opportunity to smoke with one chef, one fighter, and one of your idols, who would those three be?
oh, Bourdain for sure,
Okay.
because he was such an idol to me. Fighter wise, um, I want to smoke a big blunt with Jack Johnson
Ooh.
with some whores in the back going across
Ooh.
state lines just to piss off me. You know, just because it's Jack Johnson. The motherfucker was so goddamn cool.
Oh, cool.
That's how they got that's how they got him. Was transporting white hookers across state lines. It's so fucked up what we did to people back in the day.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
no, just because that, you know, he was such a legend and he's such a cool guy. And I like civil disobedience. I do, because it's called for, man.
Absolutely.
We are, you know, just we're lorded over by a bunch of people that have no business lording over us. And
1000%.
as I hate to say this, but shit's not gonna get really better until they all die off. And it's like all of our parents, all of our grandparents, because they're so programmed by each other to fucking hate each other and all this stuff.
Absolutely.
And like, I've even said it to my parents. I'm like, we're not gonna make any changes until you guys are gone. Like, this is bullshit.
Absolutely.
Like, and it sucks to have to put that out there because just putting that in the universe is bad. But at the same time, it lets them know, like, you guys are the fucking problem now. It's not, like, yeah, I've got a bunch of examples. I come from the 1%. I come from the actual 1%. My family has ties back to Franklin Pierce, the guy that started the Civil War for slavery. So yes, I come from very rich white people. Like, how fucking, I'm just like, oh, God damn it. Oh, no. And now that I'm, like, coming into being a real adult and a person in life, trying to be responsible, I'm looking at my situation like, oh, fuck, I got a lot to talk about. This is going to be a lot of material for comedy, though.
Hey, man, but look, see, here's the thing. As long as you're self-aware, though, and that's one thing that's amazing. Here's the thing. That's one thing that plant medicine brings to you. It makes you extremely self-aware. So the fact that you understand that and know that, oh, bro, that's an ally. That's somebody I can fuck with. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's up. All right, so in terms, real quick, I see you're doing comedy and stuff. How's that going?
I've only been doing comedy for about a year, so I suck. I know that, but I work my butt off. I'm doing a show tonight down in San Diego at the Fuck House.
That's what's up.
And my podcast co-host is Frank Castillo. He won Roast Battle. He's been passed at the Comedy Store. I already signed a development deal with a company. Comics they're gonna hate me so much. But again, I have a podcast coming out of the Comedy Store. I'm putting the work in. I'm not very good. But you can and comics know now. Comics know they can talk all the shit they want to me because I think it's hilarious, and I don't get offended by stuff. It makes me work harder. But yeah,
you got that fighter's mentality still. You're still gonna grind with it.
Yeah, and I think they know that. They're like, okay, this dude's actually doing the work. He's not just dicking around. Like, I'm writing. I have a puppet show I'm helping produce and write for. Like, I'm putting in serious work. This is the first time in my life I get to be creative with my not just violence. I get to be creative.
A puppet show? You got to what's the puppet show? Tell me. You have to tell me about that. Oh no, did he freeze? Dude, I grew up such a Jim Henson fan. I fucking love puppets and shit. Where'd he go? Let's see, bring him back. And guys, usually I'm really like quick when it comes to the, editing when somebody gets frozen. I'm like real professional shit with it. But I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I've been smoking. So let's see if we can get him going, get him back. Ian Mccall, guys, like I said, hopefully we can get him back in a moment. He has been a great... some of the things that he's doing in terms of psychedelics and really bringing awareness to people, especially in, this era, especially in MMA and stuff, is pretty amazing. So I'm loving everything that's been going on with him, and we appreciate him coming on. Real quick, take a sip of water while I'm sitting here waiting for you guys. All right, hopefully we'll get him back on in a second. I've been wanting to drink that water for so long. You have no idea. All right. Let's see. 1 second. We get him back on. Also, we have another high kicking this week coming out. And we're going to have Nicholas Maximoff coming on the show. That one's going to be also a lot of fun. He is actually one of the Diaz brothers' proteges, okay? So he's a protege of Nick and Nate Diaz. It's going to be a lot of fun. He's actually sponsored by Clybourne weed company, man. They're absolutely fantastic. I always get them when we actually... speaking of that, one of our sponsors we want to thank, as always, is Nug Club. And one thing Nug Club is, and one of the things that I'm smoking today, is each and every month, Nug Club sends you this amazing box, okay? So it's a curated box of cannabis. You guys have seen, if you guys follow the Fight Podcast, you might see it on our page. But it's a curated, dope box of just high premium quality products, man. So, I mean, it's $200 worth of product you end up getting for $99, and you get $10 off of that if you go ahead and use promo code The Fight. So check them out, Nug Club official, nugclub.com. They're incredible, and that's kind of what we're smoking today. So as of right now, your boy is smoking this peanut butter souffle. It's pretty fantastic. It's from Farmer's Reserve. It's a little bit of indica because, you know, it's Friday night. I want to hang out, you know, so we're getting that. One of the super dope things about Nug Club, guys, is that everything that they end up bringing to you, not only does it come in a really dope packaging, obviously, and all that shit is dope, they give you one of these that has pretty much just a walkthrough and tells you exactly what everything is. So what I just had, the peanut butter souffle and shit, literally, here, put this for you guys right here. They talk about it. They show you exactly what it is. Little outline of the company. It's just pretty fucking dope. So if you live out here in California, I'm telling you right now, this is something you guys should check out. Nug Club Official. Get at it. All right. Well, check it out. Don't know what happened. Unfortunately, it looks like our feed went down. Ian Mccall was driving right now to San Diego, so call looked like it dropped. It is all right. We'll get him back on at some point in time very soon. But yo, this has been episode 270. What is it? 279 of the greatest fight, the greatest combat sports of. You know what it is, okay? I don't got to tell y'all. Y'all been listening to me. Y'all know who it is. It's your boy, SERG VICENTE. This has been High Kickin' It, episode 1. Ian Mccall, thank you for so much for being on the show. Everyone who joined in today live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, thank you guys so much. Remember to listen to the Fight Podcast everywhere podcasting is available. Apple, Google Play, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher. Check us out at thefightpodcast.com. And check out Brothers in Combat, man. That is one of my other shows, man, I do with the fantastic co-host, Darnell Giovanni of Mystic Black. If you guys haven't had an opportunity to check out his show, I'm telling you, you need to. Mystic Black, he has some of the best interviews in all of MMA. I don't give a fuck who it is, Ariel Helwani, whatever, you know, Brian Callen, fuck out of here. I'm telling you, Darnell Giovanni's the man. Check him out. But he's also my co-host on Brothers in Combat. You can check us out each and every week, and you can see the episodes right here on my IG page as well. So if you're watching this on IG, or if not, you can check us out on YouTube. But with that being said, I'm host SERG VICENTE. This is the Fight Podcast. This is High Kicking It. Thank you to my guest today, Ian Mccall. Love you guys. I'll see you next time right here on the Fight Podcast, High Kicking It.